Okay, we are calling our open session to order at 5:02. May I have a roll call?
Yes, trustee Edmondson,
Present.
trustee Donnelly,
Present.
trustee Jackson Miller,
Present.
trustee Gray,
Present.
and we have heard from trustee Dickinson that he is running a bit late, but on his way.
Okay. Is there any public comment for closed session items?
No.
Okay, well then we will convene to closed session. All right, thank you, George. All right, we are going to bring open session back to order at 7:05. And we have a new Brighton student for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Hello, good evening. Hello, everyone. I'm happy to invite Emerson Au, one of our fabulous 8th grade students who will be promoting next week to lead us in our pledge.
Everybody please stand. Face the flag and put your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I was told I had to say the mission statement as well. So staff, students, parents, and the community help ensure that each child develops the skills and character necessary for lifelong achievement and responsible citizenship in a diverse world.
All right.
Hi, Emerson.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for leading us with the pledge. We always like to celebrate our student pledge leaders, and we have a certificate, and it says nice things about you from your teachers. Is it okay if I read it out loud?
Sure.
Share all the good news about Emerson. All right. Emerson Au is an extraordinary 8th grade student at New Brighton Middle School. She is a talented musician who is a member of our advanced band on campus and an artist who loves to draw and doodle wherever and whenever she can. She also enjoys cooking. Pasta is her favorite, and baking whatever she's in the mood for. Outside of school, she enjoys spending time with family. Some fun facts about Emerson include she is left-handed, enjoys making things like clothing, and knows a couple of party tricks. She also has 2 dogs and 2 cats. In the future, she is interested in utilizing her creative talents in pursuing voice acting. Overall, Emerson is everything we could ask for in a New Brighton Middle School student. She is kind, motivated, empathetic, and genuinely cares about those around her. Emerson consistently demonstrates the character, creativity, and leadership that make our school community so special. We are incredibly fortunate to have her as a part of the New Brighton Middle School family.
Wow.
Thank you for being here and letting us share all of these wonderful details about you and for starting off our meeting in such a positive way. I'd like to invite you on up to come get your certificate. And then is it okay if we ask you a couple of questions? They will be friendly questions.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And then also we have goodies. I know you're in 8th grade, but still there's some cool stuff in here if there's anything you'd like to pick out for yourself. And I don't know if you have any siblings at home besides the furry ones, but if you have any human siblings and want to get anything for them. And then team, you might have some questions.
Sure,
And then another one, we have a gift certificate to Two Birds Books, which
Thank you.
have you ever been there?
I don't think so.
Awesome little
Check out
store.
the-
Yeah, it's a great
on
little
41st
bookstore.
Avenue. Yeah, yeah.
You like to read too, right? Okay.
Well, wanted to do some play on reading. You're a musician, so I was curious. I got 2 questions for you actually that I was kind of curious about. One, what kind of instrument do you play? If you have
I played the alto saxophone for 3.5 years.
sax,
Nice.
nice, blues and jazzy. Very cool. And my other thing that was very curious was the voiceover, voice actor. Like, how did you learn about
Yeah.
that or get into that? Is that different characters' voices or?
just in the general vicinity. I have been taking like singing lessons and like stuff like that for a really long time. So I've gotten really good at doing other voices. So it just seems something that I might be interested in doing in the future.
That's great. You project really well.
Yes.
Yeah, you
Right,
come
right.
across very, yeah,
You?
yeah, you're gonna do great.
So with voice acting though, you have to have different characters, right? And how many characters can you do? You can do them all right now.
We can do it now.
Yeah.
I can do a few. Like one of my favorites to do is like a text to speech voice. It's really fun to do though.
Do you have a favorite voice actor?
Hello.
Sorry about that. Okay.
I was wondering about your doodling. What kinds of things do you like to do?
I can draw a bunch of stuff. I've been drawing since I was 4, and I just really enjoyed it over time. And I'm just glad that I was able to build my artistic skills over a long course of time.
Nice.
Mention your shirt.
I made the shirt.
Wow. Wow.
That's awesome.
I was noticing. It's interesting.
Right on.
Yeah.
Under graphic design.
Yeah.
2 dogs, 2 cats. Do they get along?
Relatively.
Okay. Who bosses who around? Cats boss the dogs?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's usually how it is. Yeah.
Tails all the time. Very cool.
What other clothes do you make?
I mean, I've mainly been mostly interested in making these types of shirts. They're pretty fun and easy to make, and I've just been enjoying experimenting with that at the moment. I can sew, but I don't do it too often. Mainly just like fitting clothes that are too big or too small on me.
It's really cool. It's really nice to have kind of a unique style in your shirt. And I mean, it could be another business venture if you have the time for it. It's really awesome.
Yeah.
And as you're finishing up your New Brighton career, what is something you've enjoyed about New Brighton and what are you looking forward to in high school?
Well, I've really enjoyed my science classes, and just most of my teachers have been pretty welcoming and very open to helping me out in case I struggle in any of my classes. And I've just overall enjoyed the New Brighton experience.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Good.
Well, it's just been a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for starting off our meeting. We'd love to take a picture with you and your family. If they want to come forward.
See you over there.
You're gonna be in the picture instead of taking it.
We can't make you. It's up to
Yeah. Yeah.
Get bundled up.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Oh, can we close the door a little bit? Just a bit, there's a big sun. The sun is right there. Thank you. I learned, I've been in charge of my daughter's Instagram.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I know. I know.
He's off.
She went on.
Robert's still moving. He's off.
Strike the pose.
I don't have it.
All right, that was wonderful. All right, next up is the adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Report out of closed session. We had 2 IDT appeals. For case number 202627-02, the board upheld the district's decision to deny the transfer. In case 202627-03, the board overturned the district's decision. And then there was nothing else to report on the other topics.
Can I just get the vote? for
The-
these two
The
items?
vote on the first one was 5-0. Second was 3-2.
And then, who were the votes then?
The yays were Robert, Callie, and myself.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. All right, now we move to consent agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second? What?
Did we just do that? Yeah,
No, that was the
Consent.
the overall agenda.
gotcha. Yeah, I'll second.
Okay, is all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, consent agenda passes. Now we move on to our next recognition item, which is the recognition of the 2026 Santa Cruz County Math Contest participants from our district. Are you kicking that off or?
Yeah, so I mean, what a great opportunity that the county provides to show off some math skills. And we just really appreciate it because it takes an effort from the staff, it takes an effort from parents, and of course, it takes a great effort from our students. So we're just happy to celebrate everybody who made that extra effort. Let's hear who they were.
Right. So we have students from Main Street and New Brighton. So we'll start with the Main Street names. Ted, you want to start?
Main Street or SoCal? Okay, well, I got oh yeah, that's the school district. All right, the first one is Max.
He's not here.
Good, I
Okay.
couldn't pronounce his last, how do you pronounce his last name?
Nick Camacho?
Oh, you think? Okay. Boy.
I pronounce it.
Yeah.
Must be close.
Now Jada Peters,
Not here.
okay,
Good pronunciation.
thank you. Bowden Wiles,
We'll stand to make it.
oh, okay. That was
But
it.
thank you for reading their names.
Yeah, okay, sure. Grayson Weber,
Not here.
Grayson Weber, Bueller, okay. Avila Sieber. Congratulations. You like math? I bet you do, yeah.
Congratulations, that's great.
All right, and then Callie, you have the rest of.
I have the next round, and I don't think I see anybody in the room, so we'll just clap at the end. Savannah Brandt, CL Webb, Bodie Peterson, and Graham Fossidon Mumphrey.
I can take those and some more unless you want to do it yourself.
That would be
Pass them out at school tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't think I'll.
There's
either.
one more from Main Street who I don't think is here, Anna Achmuradova.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yay.
All right, I have the privilege of doing this for New Brighton. Leo Halbig. It's not here. Elena Post. So glad you showed up. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Elena Krastov is not here. Ruby Donovan is not here. Josh Skognes is not here. Axel Reyes Vasquez is not here. And Henry Kessler. No. Okay.
And I'd like to just acknowledge that we had Heather Springy as one of the teachers representing it. Main Street, along with myself, and then I know that there was
Kristen Rinaldi representing you, right?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
that easy.
Yeah, thank you so much.
There you go. Thank you for coming.
It's a really, really wonderful showing. I'm so glad to see all of the students who participated in that. So thank you. And our next recognition item is the recognition of the 2026 SoCal Union Elementary School District retirees.
So it's such an honor to recognize really SoCal Elementary School District royalty. These folks have been through multiple generations of students, and you can just feel the impact that they have on the community that will be everlasting. Two of our retirees are not here with us, I don't think. It's Sarah or Lori Bond. but I just want to acknowledge them. Both been in the district for many, many years, 24 years for Lori. And then Sarah had started as a volunteer in the 90s. And so these are just people, the unsung heroes that just make the district sing. And then we have 3 of our retirees here with us tonight. I'll start with Suzanne Denham. Yay, Suzanne. Suzanne's done so much for the district. I always remember when I started 10 years ago, hers was one of the first classrooms I visited. And I just was blown away by our writing lesson that she did with second graders at Main Street. It was so powerful and such clear and concise instruction. And then, of course, she's gone on to do lots of other things, especially around social emotional learning. And then came back home this year to get our upper graders at Santa Cruz Gardens a great education. So just once again, thank you, Suzanne, for everything you've done for the district. Next up. Yeah. Oh, yes.
I mean, this was such an honor. I would say I came in '88 and I'm like, and I've been, it's amazing. This is my 30th year and I still love it and it's great. And I did great because I just like, in case you have them, I do have my 10-year.
Yeah, you keep them. You don't want to go for 40?
You know, if I can get the 40-year pin somehow, it would like.
We'll figure out a way.
But it was, and this is the first place I applied that I wanted a job, and I'm so excited I got to do it. So I feel like I grew up here. I mean, really, like you think about it, like I was coming out of college and like getting a job and being able to work here in SoCal because it was the small district, and I was like wanted to be in the small district, and I got the job and was like super excited to be here all this time. So
Lucky us.
Well, thank you.
Sitting right next to her is Miss Catherine Hughes. Let's give her a big round. Dare I say a lifer in the most positive way. 33 years as a teacher, and if I remember right, you went to New Brighton or so
Kindergarten, well, I went to Capitol Elementary.
Yeah.
When it was here on this campus.
okay.
I taught there.
Yeah. I was there, but.
Wow.
You know, teaching PE is not an easy job. You're out all day with students with high levels of energy, and I have just never seen Catherine where she isn't positive with students out there and just making them giving them an opportunity to enjoy physical education. So I just really appreciate the spirit you bring. Even after 33 years of being out there with them. So if you'd like to say a few words, please feel free.
And she didn't only just teach PE, there's a couple of math classes.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, thanks to Craig. You can thank me later when I have you do this.
And did you?
No,
Still waiting for the
Don't hold your breath there.
It's just been a real treat to watch this school grow. I mean, it's just like I remember when I was in elementary school, this was our playground out here.
Oh, wow.
There was a wooden ship that had sand in it right there.
Oh, yeah.
And that Monterey Park was just a field with a big giant tractor tire that we could play in and climb on, and I don't know, it was just interesting seeing it all just change so much. And I'm so pleased with, I love how the solar panels actually worked out. We were all fighting it. And I'm just like, no, this is actually so awesome. It does provide shade, and the bleachers underneath it are just so nice. And
That sounds like a thank you.
thank you. And yeah, I mean, it's just, I feel like I just feel so appreciative of everything you've done for PE, like with the studio, building that, and the just care for the gym, and just so much love for our department. And so just really appreciate that. And
Well deserved.
yeah, thank you.
We got that bill 5 years ago, but at least you got some time.
Like all I had to teach one unit on the field, and I was like, dang. But, all right.
And last but certainly not least, we have a repeat offender here with us tonight. So Craig Broadhurst, I would say if I'm never sure exactly what our district colors are. We have different colors on our logo, but whatever colors they are, this guy bleeds those colors. SUESD all the way through and through. And has, as most of you know, has worked at every school in our district. Wrapping up his tenure being at Main Street Elementary. And, even though Craig can always, take a joke and everything, but he really served the district coming back, so when we give him a hard time about, being, coming back for a second retirement, he didn't ask for that. I reached out to him and he really helped us out at Santa Cruz Gardens as we were going through a transition. He was a great bridge to Mr. Albano there. And then through circumstances, we were on a tough spot over a summer at Main Street. And again, who was the first person I called on a, to be able to pitch in quickly? It was Craig, and he always steps up for the district. So just thanks for everything you've done for the district. You want to take 30 or 40 minutes to talk?
Get started on this.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I'm thankful. I'm thankful.
Yes.
The district has provided a lot for me over the years. And I'm thankful. It's not being from here, it's felt like family and community. So I'm just thankful.
Ditto.
To be thankful for. Yeah.
And,
We are too.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
of course,
All of you.
All you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Dedication, work.
And of course, we'll give the
Yeah.
board a chance to ask any questions or anything, or just make any comments. But just a reminder that tomorrow we have our retirement celebration. And so we get to do this again in a little bit more informal setting. So looking forward, hopefully, to see you all there.
We do have a beautiful certificate of recognition to each of you, if you want to come up and get those. It's really, really wonderful to hear the stories of folks who have taught here for so long, and that it's part of why we love being in this district, is to hear those stories from the teachers who make this district what it is. So I'm so glad to hear that you are thankful and have enjoyed your time, because we've enjoyed having you here. Anything you want to say?
I was bragging to a group of countywide school board trustees about good things happening in the district, and when I was preparing and looking at our agenda, I was like, we have 5 retirees, and cumulatively it's 159 years of service that are for these 5 folks. That's amazing. That's really amazing. And we know and understand how difficult the work is, and so it really resonates. People who are able to stay in this district and continue doing the work and be a part of systemic change and ride the waves of the changes throughout the years of curriculum and practices and policies. And so, and the number of people that you all have mentored throughout the journey and always, extending a hand and kind of bring the next person up is really meaningful, and just says a lot for who we are as a community. So just more gratitude from me.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for dedication, years of educating my children and a lot of other children as well. I'm just curious, do you remember the first day you walked into the classroom? Did you think, oh my God?
I don't remember the first day I went to that. I don't.
Oh, okay. I was kind of curious if it left an impression or something. Okay, well, good. It was all good.
I had some of my teachers that were my teachers.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was kind of cool. I mean, my interview panel was like my ex-principal, my PE teacher that was my PE teacher. And so it felt like coming home. Really,
Oh,
I know it
good.
sounds corny, but
No.
and now I'm teaching with people like Ms. Humphries was my student,
That's right.
So it's like full circle, like back to having that same thing.
That's great. Great story. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember I wanted to be a teacher when I was in first grade and it just,
Yeah.
it stayed with me. So I feel like I've gone to school my entire life.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Cause it's, and I do remembering that, like,
been, that's going on.
it's like, I don't know another clock, I don't know another rhythm calendar, it's just like, that's it. So it's kind of an interesting thing to think about, like, spending so much of your life, like, you started school at 4 and then like
Yeah.
be on that rhythm. But I do remember, cause when I started, like, people wore pantyhose back then to work. And I was kind of young looking, so I tried to look a little older. So I remember like the pantyhose and things like that, and like the glasses. I didn't really need them, but I do now. But I do remember like, and just being like, I was so glad I got to do this. I got to do it. I remember I was just happy to class, like friends I wanted, I was in school I wanted. It was great. I was like, and now when I know how long it takes the brain to mature, I'm like blown away that I was 23 and like now we know the brain does not mature till you're 35. I did. And I was like, no wonder.
Oh, thank you. Story. Yeah.
I just want to express such gratitude for your longtime service to our district. I mean, it just shows your enthusiasm and your dedication. And I bet that, you know, you're all that time you spent in education and with kids, and it was, you know, just the putting your heart into it. And now retirement, I'm curious, like, what's next for you? What are you excited about next?
Greg will be back next year.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for a call from Scott.
Keep your phone handy.
Yeah.
I don't know, I've already been retired for 6 months before. What I found was some days it'd be 12 o'clock and I hadn't done anything.
Yeah.
And feeling like, wow, I just wasted half a day. So I think it takes, I've got lots of hobbies, but when you have lots of time, I don't think you use it as wise as when you have things to do, like showing up someplace at 8 or 7:45 a.m. So I'll just slowly flip back into doing more hobbies. But I will be probably subbing in January next year because one, I like to supplement my retirement, and two, children keep you young, and you know, they need strong, positive adults around them. So I'm yeah, I'll keep my foot in the game some way, somehow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I have a European river cruise book. I'm excited about that.
That's how to retire.
I purposely did it in September. Yeah. And so it ends with Oktoberfest in Munich. So I'm really excited.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
But I also want to get like some kind of little job because I feel like Craig, like I just can't be stagnant. I'm like way too ADHD. Like I would go crazy at home. So I do want to get some kind of little job. I don't know what. Maybe I'm folding clothes at Costco. I don't know. I'm joking about it. But it's like I feel like I'm manifesting it.
There you go.
It's like a joke, but I don't know. Anyway, so we'll see.
Leaving the job would be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, be completion.
Yeah. Friends. So you see me at Costco.
Yeah. I just want 2 weeks where I don't have to plan anything. I know I will do something. I have plenty of hobbies too, that I never have time for, so I just feel like I just want like 14 days where I don't have to do anything. And then people say, what are you gonna do? I was like, I wanna do nothing. And then we're professional planners, so we plan schedules for other people and schedules for us to make a schedule to make sure we get them on schedule. So I feel like I don't have a problem with having a plan that just, you know, I'll call you at 8, like, you're still supposed to stay on your sleep clock, right? Remember, like, you need to stay on your sleep clock for your health, for your longevity. Still get up at 6.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're gonna get like a retiree group text, like everyone up.
And I'll just echo what everybody else said. I had 2 kids that went through the system and have been with each of you guys, and from me and them, thank you guys very much. You know, they turned out okay. Like, yeah.
Well, if Craig, Suzanne, and Catherine, if you want to come up and get your beautiful certificates.
Oh, that's all right. Congratulations. Yeah, thanks for everything.
Yeah, you can.
Maybe on 40.
Yeah.
I'll stand in the back. Probably. Oh, yeah. You got my job.
And don't you wanna like perch in the back here?
What's that? I know if it's okay. All right. It's all right.
And then or for the map bring up the two map buttons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Pencil?
No.
Yeah. They always say, look, your favorite class. Oh, right, I'm staying on you.
Oh, okay.
I know, right?
Sticking with us. The goodie basket. Yeah.
Whatever. Let's share it for the man.
Great job, girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's work.
All right. Hey, I do want to say one thing about Craig before I leave.
Turn off the camera.
As a parent.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of principals come through Main Street.
Yeah.
And I've been part of Main Street for 11 years. And this is our last year at Main Street, and we couldn't have been more happy to have Craig lead on campus. And I want to say on the examples of your behavior. And your behavior is this: if there was a piece of trash over there on the ground, you were always the first to pick it up on campus every single time. And when kids would do something extraordinary where they're not being seen, you're the first one to see them. And the kid who would busk, and then you encouraged him to become a musician. And you just demonstrated so much great leadership. And I don't think you don't know one parent's name, and for sure you know every kid's name. Every kid feels seen. Means a lot.
Wow.
Wow.
That was nice.
That was
Thank you.
very. Now I feel bad. I gave you bunny ears in the picture.
Oh, that one's gonna go up somewhere in the corner.
No, I like that about you.
Thank you.
Well said.
Thank you so
Well
much.
said.
Good night.
Yeah.
Good night. I have to get.
You're welcome
Yeah.
to depart.
Yeah.
That gathering on Friday, you know, gotta clean the house. You know?
Oh, yeah.
You're coming tomorrow, right, for retirement? All right.
What's going on? What time is it?
I forget what time it is. 4 o'clock. Yes.
Thank you.
At 30.
At me?
You're 30. I'm always in 30. It's the name of a place, right? I can see that.
Yeah.
So-
All right. That was a wonderful
Yes.
start to our meeting all around. Public communications. Do we have any in the room? I don't think so. Do we have any on email? Oh, we don't. Okay, great. Next, we will move to our standing reports. You want to start?
I'll start and I'll be really brief because a lot of the items I would talk about are on the agenda. But I want to say thanks to all the teachers and staff for great open house events. Those are always a joy. And I want to give a big shout out of appreciation to CSEA as we have an agreement in principle. Still has to be ratified, board approved, of course, but we have a tentative agreement that's in process for those. It's really great working with everybody on CSEA, just like it was with SCA. But I want to start with their president, Enrique Domo Jr. And I also want to thank our CBO, Allison, for being the district's chief negotiator for classified bargaining. That's all for me.
Yeah, I have a few. A few weeks ago, I had the chance to represent our region at the AXA Legislative Action Day in Sacramento. I was joined by about 250 administrators from across the state. And we had great meetings with Senator Laird's office. And are looking forward to continuing that work and advocating for education at the state level. Also, I serve on the Student Services and Special Education Council for the state via AXA. We had our third and final meeting. Some of the trends, that we discussed that are occurring statewide are not surprising. The increasing cost of special education services, etc. And we talked about that doesn't make the need any less important. We just have to get that much more creative in terms of how we're meeting it. So I appreciate being able to participate in that council and bring that work back here. Enjoy our elementary open houses. You all in a few previous meetings had asked about interns, right? We're trying to do more with less, and we took that seriously. And so I'm pleased to share with you that we will have a school psychologist clinical student joining us next year. We'll have a speech and language pathologist intern joining us, and we will have at least one counseling intern, probably two. And so we are excited to invest in the workforce and help those folks in their career. Two, it benefits our students, and so we're working hard at that. I want to thank SEA for their input on the PD calendar and the assessment calendar. It's been a work in progress, and we have a draft that we're really excited about. And that's all for me.
Okay. And then I would also like to echo that I'm excited that we have settled the CSEA. So I'm looking forward to getting all that wrapped up and all that going. Just finished up payroll today and the retro, so that's exciting. So that went great. Back to school, our open house was nice. Got to go to all 3 sites, so it's always nice to go into each classroom and see all the artwork and everything that the teachers have done with the students, because it's always super exciting and there's great projects and so forth. And other than that, just been working on LCAP payroll and starting to listen to all the governor's budget proposals, the new ones that are coming out and so forth, keeping up on that. So that's all I have.
CSCA? Is there? No. Okay. Anything from them on email?
No.
Okay. SCA.
Good evening.
We'll be a board meeting without you.
We have a very brief statement tonight. First of all, we wanted to congratulate all of our retirees who have worked hard their whole careers and are looking forward to a well-deserved retirement. We also are very happy to see that the May revise was not only positive as FAA predicted, was even stronger than originally anticipated. It's a significant increase over the proposed January budget. Even with this, the governor is still withholding $3 billion from the Prop 98, and we are fighting tooth and nail to reclaim every dollar. Our advocacy includes, but is not limited to, meeting with State Senator John Laird's office a couple of weeks ago and continuing to lobby in Sacramento. Unfortunately, our members are also facing yet another severe healthcare increase, so every dollar matters. Finally, we'd like to wish everybody a very happy summer.
Thank you. Updates from trustees. We'll start you.
I don't have a lot of updates this week.
I enjoyed all the open houses. The SoCal L, Santa Cruz Gardens, and Main Street. They were fabulous, and I love seeing the families and the kids and the teachers with all the art up. Wonderful. And then I attended a webinar on screen time in schools that it's interesting.
So you're looking at the screen, learning about. I have nothing to report out on except for thank you for the artwork in here and making the boardroom a little bit more colorful.
I'll be quick and just report, yes, out on some activities the last couple weeks since we met. I had the pleasure of being able to attend all the open houses and yeah, just it's so awesome seeing the transformation between back to school night in the fall and the open house in the spring. And it's such a fun and relaxed community spirit event. And I love the way each school. See, now I'm being long-winded. I'm sorry, Jen.
I know.
This doesn't have to go into minutes, but like I loved that I could see like a map. It was called Polly Pockets, which was really cute or something like, right? I saw it in different schools. Like there, so
Yeah,
you see
yeah,
threads of commonality, but also the like special unique flavor of each school. Anyway, such a good feeling. We had a joint leadership committee meeting. I think that was last week, which is just a nice casual gathering between president, vice president, superintendent, and mayor and vice mayor and city manager of Capitola to keep those lines of communication flowing and open. That was great. I had a Santa Cruz County School Boards Association meeting earlier this week, and then the pleasure of attending the Queer Youth Leadership Awards about a week and a half ago with Scott and Carissa, and being able to honor and celebrate our youth and community leaders there.
Awesome. I also enjoyed, I went to the SoCal open house. That was the one I was able to make, and I just enjoyed seeing the TK in the kindergarten rooms and how they are so full of life and just really helping those little people grow and think about so many things. There's play. There was in one classroom, they had the webcam on the owls and the baby owls, and it's just thinking about all their senses and their brains. It was really wonderful to see sort of all the attention that those TK and kindergartners have. And then the joint leadership meeting that Amanda talked about. One thing I wanted to share is it sounds like the city of Capitola is starting to think again about what they might do at Monterey Park. So there's a survey on their website. I think they're thinking about maybe some kind of small play structure. So spread the word, have your voice heard about what you might want to see there or not see there. So that's all I have. Okay. Now we are on to public hearing and proposal for increasing school facilities fees, developer fees.
Yeah, so for this public hearing, we haven't increased our developer fees for quite some time. So we thought it'd be time to kind of get up to speed to where they are. Usually each January, they release an updated developer fee amount. And so we decided to go ahead and take advantage of that. We'll talk more about it when the item is up later on in the agenda.
Is this a moment where if there is public comment
Right.
that is there any public comment on this public hearing for proposal for increased school developer fees?
I just have a question. Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, so anytime there's any new residential construction or commercial construction, the district gets a portion of the developer fees. There's a 65%, 35% split between us and city schools.
I see.
And so with that funding, it's meant to be used to expand the facilities. We can't use it for maintenance or anything like that, but we can use it to create new buildings, modernize.
So similar to bond.
Similar to bond, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Great question.
Are there any comments?
Nothing on email.
Going once? Okay. Now we'll move on to our presentations. So we have a presentation from Cradle to Career, our community organizer, Cristal Medina Geronimo and Julio Neri Andrade, or just, yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks so much for having us here today. And first of all, I just want to start out with a quick acknowledgement. I feel like when I enter the room and the sense of family and community, this reflected what we see here, what we see outside in the school sites. So I want to acknowledge all of your leadership. I want to acknowledge your support. And also want to bring back the messages from our families that they hear that the message that I'm sharing also comes from them. Because I mean they're more connected. You will see it through our presentation right now. They feel more welcoming to the sites as well. But it's based on the family and community that you guys build here. So I just want to acknowledge that as we start.
Okay, so first of all, I just wanted to, reintroduce myself. My name is Cristal Medina Jeronimo. I'm the community organizer with Credit to Career at Soquel Elementary. And I wanted to start off by thanking you all for giving us the opportunity to be at our site or be at Soquel Elementary and being able to work with the parents and help them advocate and help them gain leadership skills. As we've seen in the past, they've been, more they've been more what is it called? Coming to board meetings, presenting, raising their voices. So yeah, just thank you all for giving us the opportunity to be at SoCal. And we're basically just going to be talking a little bit more about everything we've been doing at our school and also what we're looking forward to for next school year. To start off, we always host our annual multicultural festival. It always happens in September. You are all more than welcome to come next year. We started planning already, so we're getting ahead of everything. And then I've been supporting also the home and school club meetings and their activities, their programming. One of the things that we started this year was the LPAC tutoring sessions for students, which we focus on the 4th and 5th graders since they're closer to move to graduate and move to middle school. And as the years go, the tests can be a little bit more harder. So we try to focus on them and giving them all the support that they need. So we do hire someone who can be there. And we also connected with the high school students from Soquel High School to come and also support our students. So we just kind of guide them. We review the LPAC practice test exams, and that's how they support our students. Then we had some of the workshops we had throughout the year was the Alebrije workshop, which was focused. We had it in November, connecting it to Dia de los Muertos. We had a lot of participations, a lot of parents came with their little ones, and it's not just it wasn't just a fun workshop, but it was also good for them to learn about a different culture, about what it meant, what it is, what an alebrije is, and what it represents. We also had a reading workshop in March, just celebrating the International Reading Day and Book Day. So this is where we had two parents who gathered together and read a book to the little ones. They also had it was also a teaching moment for the little ones. They acted it out the book. We had different activities for them at the end. They were able to create their own story. So we had three different sections where they were able to create make a little Canva tote bag for their books. They were able to create their own little story, and they also were able to create their bookmark. So that was pretty fun because although we had mostly little ones, they were enjoying it. They were really having fun. And as always, we continue with the CSA boxes for families, totally free for everyone. The last CSA distribution we had, we got 175 boxes and they were all gone before because we have it from 11:30 to 12:30 and they were gone by 12. So that's very popular for for parents, I mean. And then keeping our meetings, our monthly meetings or bi-monthly meetings with parents. That's where you kind of talk about what they want to see, what they want to focus, what workshops they want to bring. And that's where the ideas come from, the parents, not my ideas, but the parents' ideas. I've been doing a little bit more of supporting ELAC, whether it's during the meeting, planning the ELAC meetings, or just taking notes, because parents have a lot of questions. They want to know they need a lot of information. And another huge thing that I started this semester was English classes for parents. We had a total of 25 interest parents who wanted to be part of the classes. We ended up having 12 parents showed up, and then we had the classes for about 10 weeks, twice a week.
That's a great idea.
So
That's so cool.
it was a very lengthy, but parents really committed to showing up to the classes, and moving forward, they want to see more of these classes. So we're trying to see how we can work to bring more English classes. I've also thought about bringing Spanish classes, but that's in the works.
Yeah, and also
Yeah.
for something to add about the English classes, the last class we had Ferris, our superintendent, showed up and congratulate the parents for participating. So as also for the partnership for ELAC, we're working with the COE with Denise Pittman, who's also providing a lot of support for those families. But I think I would just like to also highlight that ELAC families are really showing up to those spaces based on the outreach and efforts that Nancy Hernandez, one of our parent leaders, has been showing. I think you know her, you met her a couple times already. But she's really seen her become more comfortable in that role. And she's also bringing new parents to the table, which is pretty awesome. So just wanted to highlight that piece.
Yeah, working with families just helps me more being able to connect with other parents, and it also helps me help them gain like new leadership ideas or skills. I mean, for example, we do have another parent who at the beginning she wasn't really showing up. Her name is Soyla Cuevas, and now she recently came to one of the board meetings and presented. So those are the little things that when I hear, it's just like, I'm so happy to see that from not showing up or not coming to like her classroom to support anything to, this big change of her showing up, supporting, going on field trips, helping us with the workshops that we have. And the upper, what is it? Left? Yeah, that was one of our workshops or programming, which is autism awareness project, where we had a table with like positive wording for just to inclusion. We went around the blacktop asking parents if they wanted to be a part of our activity. We explained it to them, and they really liked it. So that's something that we're going to continue doing moving forward. But yeah, and then this is some of the pictures of the different workshops we've been having. And also just helping parents, referring them to outside resources. That's like a huge one too. Having them, trust and being able to come to me and asking for support, whether it's needing for clothes, food, or any other type of resource. I'm always here to support them. And sorry, I talked too fast. And these are just some of the other activities we've had. The teacher appreciation, we also supported home and school club. We had a day. We gave every staff, a little gift, just an appreciation of all they do. And like I said, all of this is from parents' ideas. This is, I do implement some of my ideas, but mainly it's them, what they want to see. Yeah. And then
Yeah, and I mean, just talking about how important has been and crucial your support to us, right? And aligning both of our missions to your mission and understanding that that's how really partnership works and how collaboration should be all around us. But more than anything, I think it's just highlighting the piece of how the learnings, right? Like how I measure impact is based on bringing other parents to the table with us, right? That's how I can see that our mission and support is working. For example, we're developing a new, it's called the Leadership Academy, Parent Leadership Academy with the COE. We've been recruiting parents from across the county. We have a couple of the Soquel families. We have Nancy. Now she's bringing her husband to the table. It's pretty awesome. Zoila and other parents from across the county to learn from each other and to lift up the parent engagement at the school sites. So our mission for that specific project is to leverage the opportunity for all the parents to get involved and also learn from each other and take what they learn back to their site and implement it at their site. So that's something I'm going to share with all of you once, because they're going to be an actual official graduation with the COE. They're gonna be doing that all over there, so I'll make sure to share it if you guys to join us. Yeah, that'd be great.
And then lastly, continue our commitment. Like I said, I feel when I first started this role, I wasn't really sure or aware of like what I was getting myself into. But this far, since I've been here for almost 3-4 years, just being able to support parents, like I've said before, being there for parents, and them feeling safe, having someone that they can go to whenever they need something, just continuing that commitment to them and supporting them as much as I can. And like I said, I want to thank you all for giving us the opportunity to be here and to be able to support our families. Our not just our Hispanic families, but the whole community, because everything we do, all the workshops, projects, programming, it's open to everyone. And that's something that moving forward, obviously, I'm going to try to work more to be able to bring other schools into our programming. So thank you for the opportunities.
Yeah. Any questions?
I mean, I love this program. I think it's so tangible to see the parental empowerment and the connection and the community that it really fosters. So thank you so much, Cristal, for what you're doing at SoCal with these families and these parents. I'm wondering, the CSA boxes, is that like once a year? How often are the CSA
We
boxes?
started 2 years ago or a year ago. 2 years ago, we started having them every month.
Okay.
It was like on November, before Thanksgiving break, December before winter break, coming back in January, February, March, April, like before we would go on to holidays.
Okay.
This year I did stop in March, February, just because we were going to start the English classes.
Mhm.
But one of the other ideas that Nancy brought to me at our last meeting was to reconnect with the Second Harvest Food Bank and see if we can finally open a distribution near our community or our SoCal. So, but yeah, we have them before the holidays.
Yeah, and that's our goal, to partner and bring the resources to the table, right? And working with Second Harvest Food Bank is crucial. I know we have a couple of distribution sites over in Live Oak, based on the partnership with C2C. So our hope is that moving forward, we can bring that to SoCal as well.
I would just like to say thank you for all that you do. I remember years ago, I heard about Cradle to Career, and it was over in Live Oak. I'm like, how come we don't get to be in that?
Yeah.
It was such an opportunity when that presented itself. And Cristal, you've really integrated in a meaningful way. I really love hearing how you're very intentional about it's the parents that are doing this. I'm there to facilitate it, and I think that's why you've been able to be so successful. I'm just so happy with what's happening with ELAC at SoCal-L, and that has spilled over into DLAC, which is wonderful. And because ELAC is one of those things that can kind of be a check the box, and that never feels good as a principal. And so I just imagine Miss Birchall must be so happy that this is a thriving group, not just, oh, we got to get this meeting over with. And yeah, just really appreciate also the way you've integrated with staff. When we were at open house, I remember seeing you over there with Ilda.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and that's so important, right? Because
Yeah.
then you're just not in this silo where it's C2C and then the school over here. Y'all are just finding the best way to support parents together. So
Yeah, that's another thing that I'm gonna be supporting starting next school year is with Cal Kids. Activating parents, Cal Kids.
we want to be the highest in the county. Okay?
Yeah, so I'll be working on that as well. I'll be supporting with that.
Thanks for everything.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was really excited to see you guys on the agenda because I love hearing about all the work you're doing. It's so heartwarming, and I feel like I see such results, which is just so inspiring. When you one time you brought families who are meeting and they shared, and you just felt how involved and excited they were with, like you're saying, building that leadership. And I love this tutoring for the LPAC to help kids reclassify. That's
Mhm.
amazing. The English classes is so cool. Plus all the fun stuff. Those, what are they called again? The
Alebrijes, it's
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
impressive.
Was that a parent who brought those alebrijes?
Yeah, that was actually Paola who connected with she supports senderos. So she was able to connect us and we were able to bring it over here. So like I said, everything we host is based on parents and what they want to see. The fun part, but we also want to go into, educational workshops for parents.
Yeah. I see both, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's brilliant. I love the innovation. You guys keep coming up with new ideas and new
Mhm.
ways to interact and really help build this community. I think that English for parents, that goes so much further than just that. They're more able to help their kids
Mhm.
in school and understand, the language and what's being taught to them. And hopefully they're teaching each other, but that's generational. It
Mhm.
really is, teaching them to teach their kids, and that'll just last forever and certainly help set their students up for success.
Yeah.
Really cool ideas.
Yeah, and also inspires the kids when they see their parents at school.
Mhm.
Take
Oh,
advantage.
yes. And that's community. That's real community right there too.
Yeah, that was one of the feedbacks that one of the parents gave us was like, having these type of workshops or classes for parents, just like how can they also support me by bringing other parents? So just working on like more ideas into bringing more parents, and just a little bit more adding to next school year. We plan to host math night once a week for a whole month. That way parents can come with their kids and like learn the new way that
Yes.
math is being taught. So it's
I might have to come.
we started planning the school year or next school year and see like how can we bring more educational workshops to parents. So that's one of the things that I'm working on to be able to bring for next school year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Please
Yeah.
extend our thanks and appreciation to the parent community that you
Yeah.
work with and see on a daily basis, because we felt them here, even though they're,
Yeah.
they need to be here tonight.
They
Feel them.
We did ask, but
No,
it
is
why we're not here.
Yeah. For parents, especially elementary school age parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We appreciate that.
I'll take it. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, can I turn the podium just a little bit this way?
However's comfortable for you.
Okay.
And I will just do a quick introduction of that item and say we're going to hear about some wonderful things that Santa Cruz Metro is doing. And our previous presentation was really all about equity, and you might not think about it, but removing barriers to transportation also enhances equity. So with that, please introduce yourself and tell us
I might need coaching on the clicker.
George.
No, it's okay. I just need to know which button to pick.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Clicker, did you get it?
Yes, I
Okay,
just don't know
alright.
which button to pick. We'll find out.
Sorry, George.
That's okay.
Yes.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Rebecca Downing here from the Santa Cruz Metro Board of Directors, and to tell you about how our agency connects us and provides our residents safe and timely transportation to all the wonderful places in our county and beyond. So now we have the quiz. Who here's ridden the bus? Okay. Who grew up riding the bus? Yeah, okay, me too. So who's riding the bus these days? Okay. No, I'm sorry, I have no prize, but they haven't had.
Yeah. Have a pencil next.
So I ask that because you may not know, but over 30% of our local residents rely on others to get where they need to go. So it's a good thing to have Metro. Okay, let's see.
Right.
Okay, so Metro was established in 1968 with the mission to provide environmentally sustainable transportation for Santa Cruz County. We operate countywide bus service connecting Santa Cruz, Capitola, Watsonville, and Scotts Valley, along with unincorporated communities including Aptos, Soquel, Live Oak, Bonnie Doon, Davenport, and the San Lorenzo Valley. We also operate the Highway 17 commuter service, which connects Santa Cruz to downtown San Jose and other Bay Area transit systems in coordination with our partner agencies. So in total, Metro operates 29 routes and serves 4 primary transit centers. We also provide Paracruz, our ADA complementary paratransit program, offering shared door-to-door rides for eligible riders with disabilities who can't use a fixed route. Okay, here's all the good stuff. So Metro expands access and opportunity by connecting people to jobs, school, medical care, shopping, essential services, and community. And we support equity and independence by providing mobility for seniors, people with disabilities, students, and residents without reliable vehicle access. We also reduce traffic congestion because riders take fewer car trips, which means safer and less congested streets, and more efficient travel countywide. We also improve air quality and lower emissions since transit trips on cleaner buses reduces pollution and supports our local sustainability goals. And it strengthens the local economy by supporting local businesses, making it easier for employees to get to jobs and customers to reach stores and services. And according to the American Public Transit Association, which we're members, and I believe our CEO is the president, every dollar invested in public transportation generates $5 in long-term economic value. So we also provide resilience during emergencies by supporting evacuations and access to essential destinations during major disruptions. Okay, so these highlights summarize who's riding Metro based on our 2025 onboard survey. So you can see many riders reported not having access to a personal vehicle, which reinforces Metro's role as an essential transportation option for non-drivers. We also see that a large share of Metro riders ride multiple days a week, and the most common trip purposes include commuting to work, school, traveling to meet others for recreation, which are both important for a healthy community, and other essential errands. So the survey reinforces that Metro is the key to everyday mobility for a broad mix of riders in Santa Cruz County. So this chart shows what riders would say they would do if Metro was not available for their trip. And the largest single response is that they would not make the trip at all, which underscores how important Metro is to those with limited options. And among those who still would travel, 50% would go by car. So that's adding to local traffic, which is already congested. So this illustrates why transit matters. It supports access to the community for people with limited choices, and it also helps reduce the number of additional car trips that would occur if riders switched to driving. Okay, so let's look at what Metro's been up to lately. Metro has changed throughout our many years of service, and after emerging both from the recession earlier this century and more recently from the changes that COVID brought to our ridership, we needed to match our bus routes and their frequency to the current needs of our riders. So Reimagine Metro is the service redesign that makes this happen, with goals to increase service, improve frequency, and align routes with real community travel needs. The plan was built over 15 months of a process using rider and stakeholder input, surveys, workshops, and lots of outreach. So the service changes reflect what riders and residents told us that they needed to get to their destinations. So this is a pre-Reimagine Metro map, and you can see that service was mostly focused on the west side for the UCSD students who took the bus to campus, and most routes were running 30 to 60 minutes. So the colors here represent how often the bus comes. So the darker the color, the more frequent they rode. Ta-da! Okay, now we have riding that's more convenient, with buses running every 20 minutes or more frequently on popular routes. So if you just missed the bus, another one will be along soon. We also offer more night and weekend service for those who need to travel beyond standard commute hours. And now more than 100,000 of our residents live within a 10-minute walk of frequent transit service. So as we expanded the routes and service, we tracked riders' feedback and made adjustments that resulted in significant growth following the rollout. So the day-to-day experience of riders has changed too, as we focused on convenience and usability, and with more frequent departures on key corridors, more evening and weekend service, and more people within that walking distance of frequent transit. Riding Metro is an easier option for everyone. So ridership momentum has been strong. In fiscal year 25, we reached 4.7 million boardings. So that's 22% higher than the prior year, and it's up 43% since Reimagine Metro began. So we ended fiscal year 25 at 94% of pre-COVID levels, and we are on pace this year to end just about 10% above pre-COVID levels, which is a little bit unique for a transit agency. So we're pretty excited about that. Okay, here come the goodies. So our Youth Cruise Free program began in 2023, and parents love it. They love the independence it teaches their kids. They love that the buses are safe and our operators are kind and helpful to their children. And they love saving gas and not having to chauffeur their kids around and getting stuck in traffic. And more families are now riding the bus and taking their kids more places because the Youth Cruise Free program saves them money. So here's how it works. For students in 8th grade and under, the operators may ask them to identify their grade level or the school that they attend. And for high school students, grades 9 through 12, just showing the student ID is the standard way to ride free, and no registration is needed. And if a high school student does not have a student ID, they can still participate by getting a free identification card with customer service. It's also important to note that it's really important for parents to understand that if someone is under 46 inches tall, that they might want to ride with a parent or guardian, and that's at their own discretion. A lot of times it just depends on what grade the kid's in. They're just because they're not as tall as others. But our Youth Cruise Free program removes transportation barriers for students and families, and it cultivates a lifelong habit of transit usage. So it broadens opportunities for all youth, especially those in historically underserved communities. So this map shows where all the county schools are alongside our bus routes. And some appear kind of clustered because they're just really tight in there next to our different routes. And we cover 90% of schools. 67 out of 74 schools have a stop within a half a mile. And here's just a list of all the schools and which routes serve them. And it's pretty cool because, you can see from this overview how many schools we serve and how many students can ride the bus for free. So if you've been downtown recently, you may have seen buses circling the block of Front Street and River Streets. And this is a temporary transit center location Metro's using until the completion of the Rotkin Transit Center, which is Metro's primary downtown hub.
That's named after
Mike Rotkin,
Oh.
long-serving board member on Santa Cruz Metro, yes. A mentor. The new transit center, along with 126 units of affordable housing in a net zero development, was funded through a combination of state housing and infrastructure grants. And construction began in February of 2024 and is expected to be completed by the end of this year. And the Watsonville Transit Center redevelopment, which is in the design and engineering phase, will create a transit-oriented net zero development with more than 79 affordable units above the rebuilt transit center. And the project also includes 2 routes with 15-minute service between Watsonville and Santa Cruz.
Wait, did you say 15-minute service?
I'm sorry?
Did you say 15
Yes.
minute service?
Yes. So you go out every time, 15 minutes bus. I was like, don't quote me on that one.
I see, every 15 minutes. I happen to work in Watson.
We can't even do it. So our county actively supports zero emission vehicles and participates in the Central Coast Zero Emissions Vehicle Strategy that it's a mouthful. It prioritizes charging infrastructure and policies. So Metro aligns with this priority by working towards procuring a fully zero emission fleet by 2040. So this is including our hydrogen fuel cell program of 53 buses to serve alongside our battery electric buses. And hydrogen was selected for its range, its faster fueling, its resilience during power outages, and it had smaller infrastructure footprint compared to the large-scale battery electric charging. We also purchased property in Watsonville for the future South County operations facility that was destroyed in the Loma Prieta earthquake in 1989. This will improve efficiency and resiliency while continuing to support emergency response when needed, as we did during the CZU fire and the Pajaro flood. Our employees will be happy too, because a lot of them live in Watsonville and outside of our county, so they won't have to come all the way to Santa Cruz to get their bus to go to Watsonville. So we're also moving forward with the rapid corridor study safety improvements along Soquel Drive with bus stop, bike, and pedestrian upgrades. And its design begins this month and construction will start in late 2027. And you might have seen some improvements along Soquel Drive that the county, so we're just coordinating that with them. We'll have a cool transit bus priority signal with the red lights. So if the bus is coming towards the light and it's gonna turn red, it doesn't. So the bus sneaks through. If you're behind them, you'll probably get to go over them too. So, but that just speeds up transit a little bit for the buses. So what does all this cost? And how do we get the money to fund our projects and our daily operations? So whenever a community member wants to learn, I know it's a tiny chart, to learn more about how Metro manages its finances, we direct them to our yearly budget. It's easy to read and clearly shows our funding sources and how we manage our expenses. And when I first joined the board in 2022, I was given this glossary of terms for transit, including the ones that you see on this pie chart.
Yeah.
And I do know many of them, but I have to look them up periodically. But they're all good things. And what I was surprised to learn was that the passenger fares, you can see on the bottom, they only cover 12% of the operating costs. So the rest comes from grants and sales tax measures. In fiscal 2025, roughly 2/3 of operation funding like salaries, tires, utilities, fuel, and near all capital funding was for some projects that I shared earlier came from grants. So formula grants use quantifiable factors like population size, geographic needs, and other factors to calculate exact funding amounts. So it's ensuring predictable distribution without competition. The competitive grants are unpredictable funding sources that rely on Metro staff to secure. And we also received 16% of the 2016 Measure D revenues in combination with the 1979 Measure G funds totaling 41% of our income that you can see there. So Metro has been very resourceful and careful with our budget. We repair and even fabricate parts for buses, allowing them to operate well past their expected lifespan, some now with over 1 million miles. Buses aren't supposed to last that long, maybe half. The beautiful bus wraps that you see around town are actually less expensive and better for the environment than using paint. We buy secondhand buses, secondhand bus stops to save money while still meeting our service requirements, but it's not enough to serve the future needs of our community. So Metro's committed to paying a living wage to our employees, which saves money for the agency because turnover rates are lower, so hiring and training costs are reduced. But these and other operating costs keep rising, and long-term operating and grant revenue is uncertain. Most grant funding is restricted to capital projects, like those that I described earlier, not the day-to-day operations. The local sales tax revenue, our primary source of funding, for Measure G was passed in 1979. So think about what your PG&E bill was in 1979. And Measure D in 2016, they've increased, but not enough to adjust for inflation. So without sufficient stable operation funds, riders will see service routes and frequency reduced by 40%, including the K through 12 student rides, and seniors and people with disabilities. And Metro would have to lay off over 100 employees too. So a citizens initiative called Friends of Santa Cruz Metro is currently in the process of collecting signatures to put a measure on the March 2028 ballot. And that would provide the revenue required to maintain the current service levels that the community has come to expect and rely on. So our board of directors has been presented an alternative service plan if long-term funding solution isn't secured. So to balance the budget, this approach assumes a roughly 40% reduction, like I said, driven by a combination of frequency reduction and route eliminations. And that level of reduction would also affect our staffing. We probably lose about 31% of our staff, which would affect all the programs, including Youth Cruise Free and even our para cruise rides. So we can't predict world events and the price of fuel or what the federal spending on transit will be. So we constantly review what we can do. And we've already reduced or eliminated spending on all non-essentials that are not, and we're not filling open positions to maintain that service until the spring of 2028. So there it is. So Metro is certainly facing some major challenges in the near future, and we do everything we can to make sure that buses keep running and our residents stay connected to one another. I want to thank you for your time this evening and support in of our agency's work. We appreciate the opportunity to share what Metro is doing and the service we hope to continue to provide to the community. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Yeah.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Yeah, I kind of back to the students. So K through 8, how would they identify or have identification for that they are a student? Are the bus drivers like, okay, this kid's, you know,
Well, they're
12 years old?
kids.
Yeah, but it says there they may be asked to show identification.
If that age group, they just want to, they might ask what school they go to.
Okay.
That's all.
And then if a parent rides with the child, the parent pays?
Yes.
Okay.
But the child doesn't.
No,
Yeah.
So you answered a little bit of this. I was wondering how long a bus lasts, which you answered, but how long does the battery last? And in terms of hydrogen, like is it a stand where you get hydrogen or something? I'm not familiar with hydrogen. I know a lot about it.
When I voted for this, and the price of hydrogen is actually not inexpensive. And because of the change in administrations, some of the programs for funding hydrogen production in the state were withheld. So we're trying to work on fixing that at the state level, but it is expensive. But a hydrogen bus, if you can imagine, we have the battery electric buses, and unfortunately I don't know all the answers to your questions about that, but because I'm on the board and I know I could drag Margaret.
Hey, I know the feeling.
Yeah.
I've got Scott.
Yeah, I was on the board for about 20 minutes before we voted for the hydrogen buses. And it was really exciting afterward. The public thought we were crazy. But when we had the fires and when we had the floods, those electric buses take a long time to charge and they're heavy. So the hydrogen buses, they can last a lot longer. It's a liquid hydrogen. So we have a temporary fueling station that we put in our operations building on downtown. And then we're going to move that one to Watsonville when we install the permanent one. So we'll be able to fuel in both places. It's kind of cool. The only thing that comes out of the tailpipe is water.
Yeah.
You know, those old steam cars.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because you feel like, wow, there's like a fog bank coming out behind the car. So it's pretty exciting. It's quiet and they're fun to ride, but we're just hoping that the cost of the hydrogen comes down. Just working really hard on that. And when these buses that have over 1 million miles, I don't know if you're familiar with the Volkswagen lawsuit, but when we killed the bus, which we have to like break the block, and we'll apply for a settlement from Volkswagen to cover that. So so we're going to get a little money out of that, but we have to sort of introduce the buses as we go and then pull the other ones out of service. And over by the university, you'll see we have those articulated buses too. And we did get, I think, 6 hydrogen articulated buses to take care of those.
Great, thank you.
On the ballot measure, how are the signatures coming for that? Is that looking promising or?
So I'm going to step out of my board of director position now into my Friends of Metro hat because it's
Oh,
very
yeah.
important that we
Yeah.
don't do both. So the latest report was about 7,300 signatures and 12,500 are required by August. There was a deadline that they were trying to meet but didn't because you usually plan about 6 months ahead or more for one of these. And there was about a month of getting up and rolling. So it's continuing. Unfortunately, it will have to wait till the 2028 spring election because we're not going to have a special election just for that. But it does give Metro time to come and do presentations to you about what we do because we're pretty quiet. You know, we just run down the road. We don't make a lot of excitement. But I think, especially after starting my tenure on the board, is that, you know, Metro's sort of like the blood or the fluid that keeps things rolling because when we're in our cars, we don't think about the bus much unless it's in front of us.
You're right,
It's
yeah.
in our way. And when you see, say, 8 people on a bus, well, that's 8 cars that are in front of you. And so it keeps things moving. It keeps things moving a little faster for the cars. And what we're hoping with some of these express services, you've seen the red paint on freeways. So once that's established, if we have the funding, you'll be able to get on that bus in Watsonville. You won't be able to get to Santa Cruz in 15 minutes. But the idea is, we get this question a lot, is we have these new auxiliary lanes. So the bus can, if traffic is bad, go use that auxiliary lane. And then when everybody else gets off the freeway, they'll drive on the little red pavement.
Yeah.
And then the people merging on will have to wait for them. So the bus will get that right away. So they can just zoom down the freeway in that right lane if they need to. They're not required to stay in that. But yeah, it can kind of make things a little bit faster. So we're looking forward to that. It's going to take a little while because the project, I believe, the auxiliary projects, the bus on shoulders, go out to Freedom Boulevard, and they haven't started yet on the state park to Freedom section yet, which will require replacing all those railroad bridges. So.
Well, thank you, Rebecca. This was really informative.
Yeah.
We appreciate hearing about.
Thank you, yeah.
integrated metro.
Thank you. Okay, I've never done one of these before, so I'm really grateful.
That's great.
Well, I am your county representative, so most of the people on the board are elected officials because they're from the cities. They're on city councils and they're county supervisors, but our county selects 3 people from the county to represent an incorporated county. And I'm a big champion of the unincorporated county because over half of the people in our county live in the unincorporated areas and we don't get the funding that other municipalities do. So I'm fighting that every day when I get to Metro board meetings. And if you have any questions afterward, you know, so Friends of Santa Cruz Metro, if you're interested in the ballot measure, there's a website, and then you can always just write to Metro, and staff is really quick and very thorough, and we get all kinds of questions, you know, and all sorts of comments, and we're just happy to answer any of them. And we're happy to come back too if you want us to do a presentation for parents and families.
I think there's one public comment.
I just actually wanted to say that I have been writing the Santa Cruz Metro since I was 11 years old. And I remember it was like, I had such a feeling of independence because I could, you know, go visit friends, go downtown, go to the beach on my own on the bus. And I've been teaching 3rd grade 14 years now. And almost every year, we take at least one field trip on the bus because I want my students to have the experience of taking public transport because most of them have never been on public transportation. And so every year we've called the Metro to say, you know, we're going down to the Museum of Art and History, or one year we did the Museum of Art and History and the Museum of Natural History.
Wow.
Which took a transfer. And then a Capitola on the way back. So this year I convinced my grade level colleague to also brave the bus. And so we just recently took it. And I just want to give you thank you letters.
Always have such a great experience.
This is
on Santa Cruz
oh
Metro.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I'd say your board meetings are a lot more fun than ours.
Not every board meeting.
2 third grade classes and their thank you letters.
Well, and
From
thank
us to
you
you
for walking the walk on this,
Yeah.
because I think that we don't think about the bus, okay, well, when all the parents are lined up to pick up their kids or drop them off, we just wish they'd take the bus. But, that's something that has to be shared with them and mentored into that. So thank you. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. I'm a
It's
big believer
wonderful.
in public transportation.
Yeah, I grew up on the bus too, but in Honolulu, and I didn't drive till I was almost 21.
Ah,
So I didn't need to. And I was at the dental hygienist with upside down with my mouth open while she was poking around, also telling me how much her 9-year-old loves riding the bus in San Lorenzo Valley, the 35, because that's a really tough road. And parents just love that their kids are able to ride the bus there too. So. Okay, well, I'm gonna.
Hey, Rebecca.
Thank you. Thank you all. Okay, yeah. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Open this?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's like, it's
Sorry, I
a,
forgot.
my having a moment.
I can't put that down.
Look, it's 76 degrees.
I know, yeah. What is that?
Oh, yeah, it's 76.
You got it.
All right. All right, our next presentation or discussion is regarding update to board policy 51441, suspension and expulsion due process.
So this is what I always feel is a success is when it's not a surprise. And so you all have actually seen a lot of this information. I presented recently regarding this, and so really what this does is brings our current board policy into alignment with the law that was already passed. The law came into effect in January. And so what I did, which was a little bit different from how we typically do a board policy update, is we never hope for an expulsion. And if and when there is a situation where that's necessary, we want all of our brain and person power focused on how do we help. And so I put together that guide sheet, which I had presented to you previously, and that's attached to the board policy. And I think it's especially important. It's page 91 in the docket, because a big part of AB 1230 is about the role of the board in the expulsion and readmission process. And so it gives some really specific guidance in terms of how you do that. Another thing that I think is important to share with you all is that I've been working with my colleagues across the county. We have a work group in which we are working to put together some like template documents. And not template rehabilitation plans, because those really should be specific to the student and to the circumstance. But really are putting together a bank of evidence-based resources to help be able to draw on those things if and when we're the circumstance where that would be necessitated. So that is the meat of this thing.
I don't have any. Are you ready for us?
Yes.
Yes. I just want to say how much I so appreciate the guidance sheet. Because it's not just I love me a good policy with links to code, etc. Something like this where we have such big responsibilities, right? Like it's really nice to have the more plain language, clear guidance sheets. I really appreciate that, but I don't have any questions on the policy.
Any other questions or comments? I mean, the
It worked
update,
out really well.
yeah, the update to the policy itself looks pretty straightforward, so.
It does make sense to me, the addition of the off-campus behavior. I thought that was a good addition.
Yeah.
And maybe you could just explain, this is not actually in the policy, or maybe it is, and I just couldn't find it. It's in the status. It says, sorry, give me a minute. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. On a case-by-case basis to permit a student board member to make restorative justice recommendations to the board.
Oh, sure.
Specifically regarding expulsion matters.
That's a good question. So in the CSBA policy update, in the policy itself, recommended addition was in regards to more in secondary districts.
Oh, yeah.
It's possible in districts where there's a student board member to have specific procedures relating to readmission. However, but we don't have a student board member. So that was in the status update from CSBA, but we didn't include that in the policy update since we don't have that.
And it's only that role, a student board member.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Just one little follow-up question. I know in that it said boards are now legally obligated to provide assistance to kids before we deny them coming back, and we have to legally prove it, right? We have to document that. Who does that? Because it said the board, so I mean, is that something? Hi, Jen.
No, it would be myself and our team who really facilitates that work.
I think we already do that,
Yeah,
though.
I was just gonna say, that's
So-
something that's already a part of
Mhm,
practice. And really it's speaking to, for example, if we were to require a student to participate in counseling services, we would need to provide them. We couldn't ask a student to go out and
Find
shoulder
out.
the financial burden of that. And so it's really kind of speaking to anything that you require a student to do as a part of their rehabilitation plan, you just have to provide it.
Yeah.
Which we already do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
then-
in participating in the work group was really proud of our district and the hard work that we've put in, because it has given us the opportunity to share a lot of the resources and the things that we've developed with our partner colleagues. So you never want to have practice at something, but we were able to share some of that.
And then maybe could you just explain the wording at the very end of the policy, the new addition, which may include monitoring intervention effectiveness? I mean, I would hope that we're always monitoring effectiveness, but what about the word choice of which it may include that?
I think specifically just speaking to what are some of those monitoring metrics. I think what gets measured gets done, and oftentimes especially when it comes to behavior and discipline, there are things that we've done because we've always done it that way, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's because it works. And so I think monitoring intervention effectiveness for me means if we're using an intervention that we haven't found to be effective, we shouldn't be doing it, right? And so I think a big impetus for AB 1230 is to prevent districts from just having they're stamped this is our rehabilitation plan, and these are the interventions that we've included in it, if they're not effective. And so I think monitoring specific intervention use and whether or not it's successful in shaping or changing behavior is really important to allow us to know, is it working? And if it's not, we should do something different.
Shouldn't it say which includes monitoring intervention effectiveness? Like take out the may? I don't. Or is that the actual legal language?
This was the language that was recommended from the CSBA in terms of the template policy. We make small adjustments to make sure it's for example, taking out the language very specific to a unified district. So this, I think it's one of those small semantic things, but
all right,
this was the recommended language from CSBA.
I do have one question just on the things related to outside of school. Where do things related to digital interactions and digital bullying, where does that line land if it's two students? A student is bullying another student, but it's over their text messaging and they're doing it at 8 o'clock at night from their homes.
Yeah, I would say the really important kind of consideration is not just, is it two students, but does it have an impact on the school environment or access to school for those students? And I think it's tricky because every case is unique. So really the delineating line is it something that happened outside of school, but it's gonna be so significant that it impacts the student at school, student safety at school, student access to school, those sorts of things. And so that's one of the really important kind of questions that we would have to ask in that scenario is, you know, while we never want our students to experience something like that outside of school, one of the questions we would have to ask in this circumstance is, what was the impact to school and to the school environment and to school safety?
Thank you.
Is there anything in the about cyber relations? It seems
We, in this
This one,
board
yeah.
policy, this policy references other board policies that speak specifically to that. We do have specific policy around bullying, cyberbullying, our anti-bullying policy specifically references social media and cyberbullying.
Okay, anything else? Are we good for when this comes back? It's in consent? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you, Chris. All right, let's move to our action items. Let's start with the adoption of the resolution ordering election, requesting county elections to conduct the election, requesting consolidation of the election, and specifications of the election order.
That's a mouthful. So I guess just a couple background pieces. As you know, a few years ago, we switched over the trustee area elections instead of at large. And as part of that process, and then along with some appointments, we kind of got off cycle. If you remember the last election, there were 4 seats up. The idea is that you either have 2 or 3 seats up so that there's, not having the whole board up for election. So we're back kind of on the right cycle, and we have 2 seats up. And the fiscal impact, if they both were to go to an election, would be $30,000. Of course, if the seats did not go to an actual election and a candidate ran unopposed, then we don't have to spend that whole $30,000. But we need to get on the November election. We have 2 seats open, and this resolution allows us to do it.
All you can do is say no.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
and sorry, I just need to I need to remember about this because we've handled this before. This is like a requirement to it's only if it goes to the ballot, the money.
Yeah.
And like what would happen if we didn't have to spend or didn't allocate this money for that?
We didn't allocate the money, then
We didn't have to.
I don't know.
Wait, is it
because
no.
we have to get on the ballot.
Yeah,
so,
we have
yeah,
to do it. We
yeah.
would not have, we wouldn't be in compliance with the number of.
Oh, we are putting the measure on the ballot so that people can run?
Well, it's
No.
it's not a measure.
Yeah.
I mean, just for
So people can
terminology.
vote.
Yeah, it costs money to run the election and do the
Yeah.
ballots and have all the people that count all that. And so if you have an item on the ballot,
You pay for it.
I think I understand.
That's what-
Yes.
That's what I forgot, and that
Yes.
always shocks me.
Yes.
That always shocks me.
I think it
Okay,
shocks most people.
I
You
forgot
think, oh,
that.
it goes on there, but it takes person power to make all of that happen.
Yeah. And then you have to pay for that if you want that. Okay.
And it's less expensive now with the trustee areas than
Yeah.
it used to be with at
Yeah, that's
large,
true.
because of
Yeah.
the amount that you're paying is
Yeah.
based on how many
True.
people receive the ballots.
Oh.
So if we weren't by trustee area, it probably,
was like-
it might be like double that.
Yeah.
Well, 60,000 before, right?
It was,
The last time around, we budgeted 50,000.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, everybody ran unopposed, so
Yeah.
didn't end up costing us anything. So,
Well,
but we got to be ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Is any questions?
It has to.
Any public comment? Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
Sure, I'll make the motion to adopt the resolution ordering election, testing county calculations to conduct the election, and yada, 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 yada.
Can I second?
You get that in?
Thank you.
And it's a resolution, so it's a roll call.
Trustee Gray,
Aye.
trustee Jackson Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Donnelly,
Aye.
trustee Edmondson.
Aye.
Trustee Dickinson.
Aye.
Great. Robin and I can run again.
30 grand. Give that to the teachers.
It is general fund money, right? Yeah.
All right, what is next? Next is the resolution to increase school facilities fee, the public item that we had earlier.
Love this.
Yes, so this would increase the residential fee to $5.38 and the commercial to 87 cents per square foot. Now, keep in mind, we do split between Santa Cruz High School District, 65-35. We receive 65%, they receive 35%. And that's due to boundaries, right? Because we have the same boundaries, they're high school and we're the elementary.
We get more than they do?
Yes.
I thought it was the other way around. Okay.
But it's just a high school district.
Right.
Yeah. No, you're saying, we
Yeah.
split. We split with the high, yeah.
Yeah, because then they also have their separate pot where they have their elementary. And so then
Yeah.
they receive that separate pot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So in doing this, we would receive a 19-cent increase per square foot for residential and a 3% per square foot for commercial. So there's a lot of developments that are going to be going up, and so we will see a difference with the fees that we collect. So this is perfect timing to increase the fees. We haven't increased them in a while.
Is this update or other districts and entities doing this update now also, or is it just us?
It depends.
Yeah.
Because you have to have a full study done. You have to have an outside company do the study, and then they come back and tell you, okay, this would work for you. This is how much you can go for, and so forth. So it's been a while since we've done a study, and it actually was started a couple years ago. And so then we just picked back up on it to continue and to finalize it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then also I'd like to point out on the memo in the status section, second paragraph, where it says the fees will be $250, that should be $350 per square foot total, and then the 57 per square foot.
And then is this, if someone is like remodeling their kitchen, is this also, or is it like totally brand new? There wasn't anything that existed there before construction.
It'd be anytime they have to get a permit.
Okay.
So if they're adding onto their home or anything like that, there is a threshold, and
Yeah, there's
I
square
apologize.
footage.
Yeah, I apologize.
500 or something like that. If you go below that, then you don't have to pay
Yeah.
the bill for fees.
Yes, yes.
Cause I did that.
Okay.
Now, don't include Capitol Mall in this.
I know.
The Live Oak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then a few things that the fees can be used for, because they're kept in a separate fund, they're in capital facilities, building new school classrooms, reconstructing, modernizing, and also technology infrastructure and stuff like that. So that's useful in times of, infrastructure is always needed, so.
Any questions?
How much was the study? Like, are we gonna make I mean,
Oh, we'll
it's
get it
not like
back.
one of our usual studies that costs like $200,000.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Yeah, it was a couple $1,000s.
Oh,
Yeah.
love it.
And
Way to look under every rock.
yeah, and it'll definitely pay off. So
Great.
Yeah.
And then how's that number selected of what to increase it to?
It's based off of ed code, so the approved rate. So you'll see
Cool.
that right now it's the $5.38, and that's based off of ed code. So we go off of what they have set into statute.
Huh.
Is there any public comment on this? Any public comment? All right, are we ready for a motion?
I'll make the motion to adopt the resolution to increase school facilities fee.
Second,
I'll second it.
all right, roll call.
Trustee Gray,
Aye.
trustee Jackson Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Donnelly,
Aye.
trustee Edmondson,
Hi.
trustee Dickinson.
Aye.
All right. Okay, next we have considering the approval of the agreement between SUESD and Campus Kids Connection for the expanded learning opportunities program services.
Thank you. So let me start with this. This item has nothing to do with Opal Cliffs. This is about after-school care at Main Street, SoCal, and Santa Cruz Gardens. Tonight's item is a proposed agreement with Campus Kids Connection, CKC, to provide expanded learning opportunities program, ELOP, services in the form of after-school childcare for eligible, unduplicated students in grades TK through 5. You've heard a lot about ELOP. ELOP is an important program for expanding access to before school, after school, intercession, and summer opportunities, but is also operationally complex for a small district like ours because it has to run for 210 days, 180 school days, and it has to run for 9 hours a day. So partnering with CKC allows us to meet those requirements, be compliant, in a very practical and sustainable way through a provider that's already well known, already serving our students and families at our schools and has been for a long time. The most important benefit of this agreement would allow eligible students to access free, high-quality childcare. And when you think about the cost and limited availability of that resource in our community, this can really make a meaningful difference in families' lives. For supporting student safety, consistency, and just peace of mind. The agreement has an estimated annual fiscal impact of about $441,000. And so we cushion that a little bit, and the not to exceed annual amount is $500,000. This would be a 2-year agreement starting 26-27, 27-28 school year. So it's $1 million not to exceed between the 2 years. We will monitor it, and if it looks like we were way off one way or the other, we'll bring that to the board early on. And just for full clarity, the district will not use any unrestricted general fund dollars for this.
Thank you for that. I appreciated the Q&A section.
Yeah.
In the docket.
Good.
How are we providing ELOP now?
Internally. And so when we first got the opportunity a few years ago, we really always trying to think of helping students and helping staff. And so it was a rare opportunity for our district because the local agency could choose what the hourly rate was for ELOP services. And so we went with a very high number of $75 an hour. With the idea of not only could some of our own staff provide great services to unduplicated students through ELOP, but be putting money into their pocket as well. And so those are really good intentions, and we've provided some great opportunities from our staff. But quite honestly, it's when you think about, like, we're not big enough. Some districts have an ELOP coordinator, and that's like their job. Our ELOP coordinator at the site is basically the principal. The principal has a school to run, and it really has been a lot to ask that they stay open till 6 o'clock, and anything that happens at the site is the responsibility of the principal and the staff. And so we've been managing internally and being compliant, but I'll be honest, some of those days when it's Friday of parent conference week and everybody is off at 11 something or noon, and that ELOP program has to keep going till 6 o'clock because it's 210 days, 9 hours a day.
Oh, okay.
That's a lot to ask. The compliance piece is a lot to ask. Partnering with CKC, besides the number one thing of giving family of an unduplicated student free childcare access, it also makes us compliant. Right, just straight across the board. They will be open 210 days. They will be through 6 o'clock. Anything extra from our allocation, then we can do enrichment with ELOP. Still unduplicated students, always have to exhaust that student group first because that's who the money's intended for. But right now, a school, if they're going to do an opportunity, they have to think about, is this helping to meet the 210-day, 9-hour-a-day compliance piece? If we just have that part met, then with whatever budget is left over, they can do, well, we're just going to do two days a week for an hour after school for some supplemental, intervention or some enrichment opportunity. The site isn't burdened with the compliance piece, just the enrichment piece then.
So if you have to have I guess staff, nine hours a day, right?
Well, and that includes
And
a
then-
school day.
Right, right,
School day,
and
yeah.
that's, yeah, school days. Then when you had staff doing it, would they do it before the start of their shift?
We
and
did
after
some
the-
before, but it was mostly after
And
school.
then what happened in the center?
School day.
But you have.
So ELOP means in including the school day, there has to be a place on campus for students 9 hours a day. So that includes the school day.
Okay, so then when they're in school, that.
Yeah, that counts
makes
towards
it-
the.
Oh, I see,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Just like the 180 school days counts towards the 210-day requirement. Districts just have to find those other 30 days during summer, winter break, spring break to make up the additional 30 days.
So
And CKC already has that structure because they have summer camps and everything.
So then they'll be operating before and after school
Mostly after.
or after?
Yeah.
Okay.
And every school site,
The 3 elementaries.
the 3 elementaries.
Yep.
Not New Brighton.
ELOP is
It's only
PK
till
through
6.
6.
Okay.
And so I'm working on possibly bringing an opportunity similar, different agency for the 6th graders at New Brighton. We're working on that piece.
Yeah, some of the questions I would have asked you were in the FAQ that's in the board document, so I really appreciate that, especially the, is this a model that's already been put in practice? And so knowing from here, like
Yep.
CKC has been doing this in Santa Cruz
Yep.
City schools.
We beg, borrow, and steal.
As other districts learn
That's
from
right, that's
our
right.
successful partnerships, right? But it really to be able to give that type of relief to families is absolutely huge, and also like recognizing that we have had to make some hard choices and downsize and increase responsibilities in different places, and so giving our principals, taking the task of administering it at the sites, I think is really meaningful.
I'm just curious if we didn't choose this option, what is another option? I mean, is it staff? Would we have another option if we decided not to go the CKC route?
To continue what we have been doing and
Just
having internal staff.
And is that
Which this doesn't rule out internal staff doing some opportunities that just, again, don't have to be burdened with the compliance piece. So yeah, we would just continue to do it by hook and by crook.
okay? And we can still offer staff opportunities to make additional revenue.
Yeah, the only caveat, full transparency is that if you saw the estimates in there. And the best estimates, we worked with CKC, what are our numbers now, and what percentage of our students are unduplicated. But you know how estimates are, like they come in higher. If it comes in a lot higher, and I have to come back to the board and say we need a little bit more annual allocation, then there wouldn't be as many opportunities for our staff. So I just want to be like upfront about that. But I think our estimates are going to be close enough. We have a $350,000 carryover in ELOP, and so we kind of have a little buffer there. And so I anticipate still being able to offer some of those opportunities through our own staff.
That's great. Okay, cool.
So staff could still
Make money.
Yes.
make money.
Yes.
And why are we going with CKC and not with the staff? Just
It's not an issue of quality because our staff is
Right.
deliver a lot of high quality ELOP. It's really for clear compliance.
Okay.
It has been challenging sometimes.
I see.
When you
Okay,
think
yeah.
every day of the week,
Mhm.
whether it's Friday, early day dismissal, parent conference, or anything else, that has to run till 6 o'clock. That is the challenging piece, and then the extra 30 days outside of the 180-day school year, right? So by going with CKC, it's already locked in through the third party. We're compliant with ELOP, right? And then any funding we have left over after paying CKC, we can run enrichment programs that don't have to. We don't have to worry about like, is this going to go to 6 classes? Like, what do we want to do? Do we want to do a math intervention for 90 minutes and it only goes to 4:30 2 days a week? We can do that because we're already compliant through CKC.
Right.
So you go to 6 o'clock now with it? Okay.
No.
Is that because of work hours or just?
that's the way the funding came, and
It's not.
I'm sure that it was
Yeah.
tied to working families and
Mhm.
that being an optimal time to say, oh gosh, I don't have to worry about, my student and pick up and everything until that time.
Okay.
Just one of the requirements of having the funding.
You mentioned if 441 is based on the projections, if
Yeah.
projections come in higher, what would make the projections come in higher? More students who are
Yeah,
eligible?
that just like every unduplicated
Got it.
student takes
Okay.
advantage of it.
And then would the enrichment also be available to just unduplicated, or is that?
Always unduplicated first.
Okay.
Sometimes we offer it and exhaust that. They always have right of first refusal. And then if there's spaces left over after that, it's kind of like what Krista has done with summer school. All unduplicated students were offered first, space available. Then we went on teacher recommendation of students that need it, even if they're not unduplicated.
And this question here about, will all SUSD students receive pre-childcare? No, this is focused on the unduplicated.
Yes.
Is there any window where we are meeting our unduplicated students' needs, so we then offer some space to other students?
I would say not through ELOP for this, because any extra money could then be, we could be more flexible with and some of those other opportunities
Okay.
that I mentioned. And, CKC outside of this process, they do have
They
subsidized
provide,
rates.
got
Yeah,
it, okay,
yeah.
okay.
That was my question or idea was, like you were talking about during those conference weeks,
Mhm.
can be challenging for families.
Yeah.
But potentially to offer a half day to, any kids that needed it, to come up with some kind of an agreement for those 2 conference weeks that we have during the school year would be really helpful for families. And I hear that this is separate than ELOP from what we're talking about now, but.
Yeah. Maybe there'll be another funding source.
Yeah,
that the state
yeah.
offers us.
Maybe there'll be money for enrichment, and enrichment could be that week, and maybe there'll be enough to offer to everyone. I don't know.
You never know. We'll say we'll get it up off the ground here these next couple years and then see where it takes us. And it really is, we've talked a lot tonight about equity, but it's kind of like a very concrete example of equity is not everybody gets the same. Equity is not equality, right?
Yeah.
I remember showing up at like 2 hours before they opened the office at CKC just to make sure we got a spot in there. And I was 50 in line. That's it, 2 hours ahead of time.
Yeah.
That is the most popular thing.
Childcare is a precious resource.
Unbelievable,
Yeah.
for all the working parents.
That and junior birds.
Speaking of, are there any other trustee questions? No, okay, public comments.
Just because this ELOP was for a number of years, I did the thing at Main Street, and I worked closely with Jessica and Tristan, and there was then some changes, and I feel like I know this intimately, and I did not do it this year, so it did fall back onto Craig, and I can just speak to it was a lot of work. I mean, y'all paid me really good money to do a lot of good work for about 1 year and 2 years. Anyhow, I just it is on those conference weeks with the staff, and we can't double get paid because it was during people's hours, and then finding the availability. And I don't know about 6 o'clock, like at our school, we did it an hour before school.
Oh
so
yeah,
7
as
to
long as
8.
it goes to 9 hours.
And,
Yeah.
and then it would go till 4:30. And I think that I think teachers did really like, and staff really did like having the opportunity to do it. I think the oversight was really hard on, it is to ask a principal to do it was really hard. So Carla's first year doing it was like, I think that in terms of compliance, it is a great idea to have an outside agency take it on. And I appreciate that the board is concerned about, or like that you're asking questions about, will the teachers still be able to access the opportunity for that additional thing? And I mean, I could say, I won't speak for my colleagues with her name, but I will say that I have a colleague who does ELOP and is like, oh, good, that's smart, CKC doing it. So what I do feel confused about is what you said about if there's money allocated, so there's 350 rolling over, and if there's money allocated based on whatever to go to enrichment, if those kids are already unduplicated and enrolled in CKC,
Mhm.
how will they be two places at once? Because the attention. is
Yeah,
really-
I talked a little bit with, and we actually have a meeting with CKC tomorrow with Heidi, the executive director, and we're gonna learn from what City Schools has in place. But there could be a way, if the student's there, you know, for a block of time after school, and the opportunity being offered internally by staff is for a subset of that time. They could go over to that, assuming it'll probably be a academic
Right.
opportunity, right? So it's just having an accounting system in place for where all the students are at that time.
Right, and so then historically, intervention, just to stick with that one for a minute,
Okay.
in the hypothetical land. At one point, it was hourly pay, like a number of years ago before ELOP, then it was $75 an hour.
Yeah.
For intervention, then it would drop down to 50.
Yeah.
And now there's rollover and we're gonna go with somebody else. Is it possible to get that? Is it flexible to come back to 75 for intervention for staff to also make people excited to do that and benefit that student? I'm just.
No, it's a
sounds
fair
like
question. And
maybe-
when, you know, like I said, when we first rolled it out, I was so proud to be able to be the highest on something. I think we were the highest hourly rate. We never get to be the highest on anything. And so.
Not the good stuff.
Yeah, right. So.
Check we would.
That's right, that's right.
That's right.
Good point. So anything's possible. I think the really important thing is to give, you know, a good chunk of time to see what the signups are like. Right, and it's gonna take a lot of communication. Tristan's already working on communicating to unduplicated families of unduplicated students. A nuance of this is maybe where teachers can even help when talking to families at open house and that sort of thing, is you'll see in that there you can sign up for 5 nights a week, 4 nights a week, 3 nights a week, 2 nights a week, and they're obviously, you know, the cost adjusts accordingly. A family that, you know, maybe isn't, you know, thinking everything all the way through might say, well, I'll just sign up for 5 nights a week, and if I don't use it 2 or 3, you know, so we're gonna have to be accountable on that end, working with CKC to make sure that that's not happening,
Yeah.
because these are district funds that we're expending. And we'll want to communicate with families like, please don't look at it that way. This is not like a catch-all for the days of the week.
Right.
Try to think through how you're actually going to use it. So there's some accounting pieces.
Yeah.
We just need to monitor that for a while. Anything new, you know, we're going to learn some things along the way. So I hesitate to, you know, say anything definitively until we can get, you know, halfway through the year and go, well, we said it was going to be about 500,000, or we at about 250,000, or how's it looking?
Totally.
Okay.
And that attendance piece, that was part of the thing that was so hard to track, because if the people don't, then we had to get them out and get the next people on the wait, like the attend. Anyway.
Yeah.
I have a couple of questions that I hope will be quick. Does not include summer school, right? That's not part, or it does,
So it includes like a summer camp. So
but
that's
not summer school.
so-
Oh, so.
no. So our summer school like is separate, but the two agencies work together so that some of the unduplicated students that are being served in summer school by us can just go right over.
Perfect.
to CKC.
Okay, and what about homework club? We have a homework club at our school. Is that part of? I'm sorry, to be full caveat or full disclosure, I didn't have time to read the full docket. I read the
Well, how
agenda.
dare you.
Sorry.
It's only 280
In May.
And
Report cards.
you have a dog.
Yeah, I
Dog,
got you.
there's lots of them.
Okay, homework club, is that part of ELOP, do you know?
Don't remember it, Main
It's
Street.
not at
sure.
Main Street.
Okay, that's good, because I would wanna know that there was some kind of accountability for follow through on that. The other thing is, you mentioned about like late pickups.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that does happen. So one of my questions is if CKC is running it
Yeah.
and a parent is late to pick up,
Yeah.
they usually do a charge, right?
Yeah.
So where does that charge go? How does that work?
Well, I mean, it would be them paying CKC would have to pay their staff to stay after,
Exactly.
right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, it would go to paying the staff that had to stay after.
So that would come out of, that might increase our costs.
Yeah.
We could.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks, those were my main
Yeah,
questions.
good questions.
I think it sounds like a great idea to give this a try.
Love having the input,
Yeah.
honestly, like,
Yeah.
it's 9:15 at night. Thank you guys. We only know so much, and Scott does a great job, but it's so nice having you guys here, because I was about to say, what do you think, Alana?
I was hoping to share it.
Yeah.
Always great to hear from you.
Yes.
All right, any last questions or are we ready for a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the agreement between SUESD and Campus Kids Connection for expanded learning opportunities program services in 26-27 and 27-28.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, that passes. And our last action item is
Resolution at first.
consider approval of the Monterey Park Pathway Project Agreement, Resolution, and License and Right of Entry Agreement.
Yes, so construction previously completed our field back here. And as part of that project, the pathway located on the back end of the field that's owned by the city of Capitola now needs to be restored based on our construction. It's now sloped where before it was flat, so there's some work that has to be done there. So the city's agreed to do a license of right of entry agreement, allowing the district to enter the property and get the work completed. They'll provide the permits, they'll cover the cost of the permits. So under that agreement, they'll serve as the lead agency and they'll take care of the compliance with CEQA and so forth, anything else that's needed, the Coastal Commission Act and so forth. So with that, we went out and we got some bids. We got 3 bids. Kent Construction came in the lowest at roughly a little over $100,000. And they're, fully aware of what needs to be done in the pathway as they're super familiar with the project. So they are ready to go to get this project completed. And the city is ready to go at this point as well. So getting this approved tonight can get the ball rolling and get all of that in motion. And that way that pathway will be a nice restored pathway.
And this would be with bond money?
This would be with the matching funds.
The
So the
matching
same funds that we use for the field.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're really pleased with the amount that it came in at.
What's the pathway gonna, and I was reading it earlier, what's the pathway gonna be made of? Is it just dirt track, like a little dirt pathway, or are they gonna pave it?
Actually, I have to read, got everything on it, but they're gonna bring it up to code. They have to put some reinforcements along the back. So I believe it was gonna be some form of like asphalt.
I think it looks like DG on the, I mean, if I'm reading this correctly.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Okay.
And that's what the city wanted. The city.
Yeah, the city
weighed
has
in.
totally vetted and looked at everything and agreed with all of the plans.
And the path, I think, remind me if I'm wrong, but when it's that path connecting the neighborhood to the side of the field.
Yes.
And we discovered that it was really uneven ground. There's kind of a gully. Is that what that is what we're fixing, is kind of leveling this out and then
Yeah.
a
and
new
it's-
surface on top?
Yeah, so it won't be completely level, but they're gonna bring it up a little bit. And yes, there's that corner section right there.
Yeah.
That they have to build into that and so forth. But yeah, to get that going so it can be usable again as it was used before. So the neighbors can go through the pathway into Monterey Park.
And I guess I'm just thinking of drainage, like do we know that that's a spot that doesn't, I don't know, does it need that? To me, it almost looks like a creek, but it's not quite a creek.
No.
Yeah.
And that's something that they're gonna take care of.
Oh, it's all part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dealing with some way of drainage and
Yeah.
the
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is the city's land,
Yes.
right? This is all the city's land, but we're doing it because our project created
Yes.
a mess that we need to,
Yeah.
that we need
Yeah.
to.
And we've been working with the city throughout the whole process and so forth. So they're all on board.
I think it'll be improvement over what it was even before. the
Yeah,
field. So
sure.
it sounds like it's
Absolutely.
a nice benefit for the neighborhood and hopefully to enjoy the improvements that come to Monterey Park.
Public comment?
Oh, I have a comment.
Yes.
Yeah, I live right behind the school in the house that comes down the walkway that has always been there. There's never been a walkway behind my house. There's never been a flat surface there. It is an old irrigation ditch that was there. In fact, the irrigation ditch still exists on the other side of the walkway. There is a flooding problem that comes from that area and flows directly onto my yard. But the main point is that I don't know where the idea came from that that was an existing walkway. I sent an email to Allison and Scott, and I'm not sure what happened to that because I never heard anything from them. But I included maps that shows that there was never a walkway there. And the fact that now there's gonna be this public walkway right behind my house is concerning to me. And I don't know who's misled who on what was there. But it never was a walkway, and I had a lot of concerns. And I never heard anything from anyone from this district. Because I'm wondering if those issues have been addressed or my concerns have been addressed. One of which is student safety, having a public walkway behind a neighborhood and in between the school. And having no eyes on that at all when the kids are out playing or when they're out playing soccer or whatever they're doing back there. You're basically inviting 24/7 anyone in the public to go behind. And we all know that that's where issues happen, is when it's behind and there's no eyes on the street. The other issue that I have is I'm really concerned for nighttime safety for myself and for my neighbors. And that's not been discussed. Also, privacy is a huge problem, because that walkway is going to be right next to my house. And nobody has talked to me or addressed anything about whether my privacy is being considered. Like, people are gonna walk down there right behind my house. And they're gonna look through the fence and they're gonna bring their whatever, I mean, I don't know, but I know that this is a concern for me. And I wanna know if it's been considered by the district, by this board. And I also want to mention that the artificial turf does create heat. It does. It makes everything hotter. And one of the things that I asked about was whether if this path has to go there, can it be more of a green space? Can it not be asphalt? Can it have shrubs or bushes or trees or something that will keep it cooler for for me, for my neighbors, for the kids on the turf. I raised 4 kids. They all grew up playing soccer on artificial turf. It's at least 10 degrees hotter on turf. So I mean, that could also solve some privacy concerns that I have. Again, I just never heard back. And the city has told me over and over and over again, the school district is who I need to talk to about this. I am the only member of our community that's here today to speak about it. From my house, which is the farthest from the park that you can get, it is a 5-minute walk. So I don't know why, if people are complaining that the walkway to the school is still there. They've always had that, that is staying there. And then lastly is this is city property? Is this really something the school district wants to spend more money on? I mean, you guys are in the business of educating people, of educating these kids, and I've heard about all these great programs that you guys have here today. And I don't know, is that a proper use of school funds to make fake improvements? There was never a walkway there. That is just false. And I have pictures and I've sent them to the district. And so I just don't know if that's a proper use of school funding.
Can I ask, is there a I mean, I've walked by there before. Is there a gate or something like that that indicates it's an entranceway to the park? On from the street? Like, is there any indication that this is a pathway, like it's a gate or a fence?
It's an open and obvious pathway that went directly to the school. It was put in for the neighborhood kids to access the school. It was never intended to be a public access to the park. And the park has open and public access here through this parking lot. So I'm not sure how this all came about. But what would happen is, when school would let out and the gate wouldn't be locked, there is a gate that goes between the public walkway and the school grounds. And when that gate wasn't locked, people would go through the gate and they would go across the field, or they would go down the field. There's even in the picture, there's a trail that goes down along where the apartments are. You can see the trail in the picture. Where, they would go to cut across to go to the beach or to go to the church or wherever they were going. But very rarely did someone come down the walkway and then go directly to the right. And it was always a sloped, old irrigation ditch.
Thank you for your comments.
Yeah.
Are there any other comments?
Nothing it's too, like, I'm assuming it's.
It's just showing Robert the map, sir.
Okay.
Some good points. I mean, I would like to not see that be asphalt if possible.
I'd like not to spend $100,000 on it.
I mean, yeah, you know.
And it seems like it's DG and not asphalt. I mean,
And we are, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cause that was my question is, wasn't it like a creek or a waterway, but it's like an irrigation ditch, just meaning that water pools there. So a DG path would be, much more environmentally friendly for a wetter zone.
I'm just curious, what are our alternatives here? Like, I mean, do we have to put in a path? Do we have to do this? Is it something that the city's telling us we have to do?
No, it's our recommendation, given the fact that our project impacted that area.
Did our project impact that area?
It's not really our place to ask.
Yeah.
Like we live there.
No, I know,
No,
but it's
no,
just not part of it's our Brown Act
Brown Act
procedures. We
was.
That was
can't,
my mistake, yeah.
that's not how the process works.
Partly there's a fence now.
So there is a walkway and there's a fence.
Yeah.
And there's a gate, and the gate is closed during school hours, and it's opened in the morning and it's open in the afternoon.
Right.
And there has never been a pathway in the sense of like DG or asphalt.
Right.
But many, many people in the community use that entranceway to come to Monterey Park.
Right.
And so because our field project made that impassable, it like really, really degraded the incline. We are proposing to restore that to a more level way.
Usable.
A usable
Yeah.
way so that it is
Yeah.
similar to what it was
That's
before.
That's just not true. It was
I'm
never-
sorry, I'm sorry, but you've had your public comment.
Well, you're not,
I
It's not a
understand.
town hall like this, is not the way board.
So that's what we're proposing. We are, because our project made that space completely impassable, we are in good faith saying we will restore that to a similar passable way and with the enhancement of something that is a little bit more.
Got it. So people could walk through there before, now they can't.
They could
We
walk
need to
there before.
Make it like it was.
It was uneven with gopher holes. So people used it all the time, and it was not a walkway in the sense of like here's the right and the left and here's the path, but it was a common use passageway.
Yeah,
Okay.
because there's an alleyway that people would come from the community over there through the alley. Along.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know you were. Yeah, I appreciate the
Yeah.
input too, because
Done that one over the years.
have you? Yeah, okay.
And we did talk about security in the walkway before.
Yeah.
Talking about using materials that are visible
Yes.
through sight so that it's not a little hidden kind of a zone that kids might go be in.
Absolutely.
You see
And-
the fencing out around the.
Yeah, the fencing is
Yeah,
like
yeah, exactly.
see-through is just
It's just see-through. And do we have, there's no, I don't know, tree or bush removal that needs to happen, right? It's just literally the dirt that we're talking about. Okay.
Is there a way to influence the plan so we could put more shrubberies or trees or something like that and make it a little bit more friendly to our neighbors? Can we ask them in the plan? Can we ask Kent to?
My recommendation, I won't speak for Allison, but it would be to consider approving this plan as is. When the project's done, if we want to consider something else, then we can discuss that separately.
And that might create areas where people could hide if we added shrubbery and stuff like that.
Okay.
Do we have dimensions of how wide the path is?
Should be in the plans.
They're here somewhere.
Yeah.
Bigger.
Yeah. Illegible.
Yeah. But the area over there it's not super wide.
Yeah, I didn't think it was super wide. And the funding source is the matching funds based on the. Was that 2016?
Yes.
Bond.
Yes.
And then due to the bond project, we qualified for matching funds and those can only be used on facilities.
Yeah, can't be used for anything else. And like I said, we went out, we got 3 bids. This was the lowest bid.
It does hug the field too, which that's a good choice.
Any other thoughts, questions, comments?
Just, it's always so hard to do these projects. It's, you're trying to do good things for schools and the neighbors and it's just makes me a little sad that, we kind of can't please everybody with all the projects.
Yeah. Did you say that the city is requiring us to do this, or did they ask for us to do this? Or are we just doing?
No, not requiring,
Okay,
not asked. We just feel like it wouldn't be being good community partners to even make them ask. Right, we created the issue. And let's put it this way. If the city did a project and it impacted our area, I wouldn't want to have to ask for them to restore it. But being good partners, you would think that they would take it back to where it was.
yeah, here. That's the field. Okay.
Are we ready for a motion?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Monterey Park Pathway Agreement Resolution and License and Right of Entry Agreement.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, it's a resolution. Okay.
Trustee Gray,
Aye.
trustee Jackson Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Donnelly,
Aye.
trustee Edmondson.
Aye.
Trustee Dickinson.
Okay. Passes. Any additional correspondence?
No.
Any future agenda item requests? The board is, as we conclude, we are going to go back to closed session for one last item. But we will still adjourn open session. So is there a motion to adjourn open session?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Robert's got it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. 9:33, we adjourned to closed session. Thank you.